Today I have some exotic monitors for your Mac computer. I bet you haven't seen these before. Let me show you what they are. Welcome back to the channel. So what we're going to do in this video, and I'm just going to set it up for everybody, is I have about 8 different monitors that I classify as exotic, meaning a lot of people don't know about them. A lot of people don't know that they work well with Mac computers, all right? This can be your M2 Mac Mini, M1 Mac Mini, your MacBook Air, MacBook Pro, Mac Studio. A lot of people know the Studio display. The Studio display is $1,500–$1,600. That's exotic, but everyone knows about that. And there's other ones out there like, the 5K LG display and stuff. But these are going to be different ones that a lot of people don't know about, except for the first one, which is just an honorable mention. But then stay tuned for all of these, because I guarantee like the last 3 of them, most people that are watching this are not going to know what those are, and they're going to be kind of the first time they see those monitors. So it's going to be interesting, I guarantee that. But I'm not going to do a full review. I don't have them in-house. I'm just going to show you websites and stuff of where they're available. I'll have links in the description and we'll go from there. So without further ado, if you want to see some exotic screens, minus the first one, let's get into it. All right, and like I said, the first one's not that exotic, and I've mentioned it before, but I just have to mention it in this video. If you look over at my screen, it's going to be basically it's the Samsung M8 monitor, right? So here's a picture of it. It's a 32-inch 4K, which is kind of exotic in itself. But it's made out of this nice white plastic. It comes in a bunch of different colors, basically greens, and it comes in blues, greens, and whites, and I think a pinkish. So these are going to be good deals. I've seen them for as low as like $399 at one point, maybe even lower. Now it's up to $546. But I just wanted to mention that because that's kind of exotic in the way a lot of people don't know about them. They don't use them for Macs, but that's actually a good one to pick up if you can get that cost somewhere in the 400s. But let's get down to the more exotic ones. Let's move on. All right, so the next one's going to be the LG 32UN880-B. It's a mouthful, but let me go ahead and show you some pictures of this while I'm talking about this. Now, what makes this is actually a great panel is it's 4K, it's got HDR10, and this is also a 32-inch panel by LG, so 4K 32-inch also. But look at the cost here. I'm going to show you a quick cost here. It's $499 right now, but it's out of stock. That's the problem. It's out of stock if you buy it directly through LG. That's an incredible price there, though. Now, if we kind of move on, though, it is at Amazon, and I think it's a little bit more expensive. I'll have the page up here to show you. It's a great monitor. It comes with USB-C with 60-watt power charging as well. So it's got a lot of features built into it. But that's not why you'd buy this monitor, although it is a great panel. You'd buy this for the ergonomic kind of stand. So the stand attaches directly to your desk over here. It'll clamp on, and it comes with the poles you can see. All right, so take a look at this. You can see how this thing adjusts. It's pretty amazing. Just watch this. So the clamp on the back actually clamps onto your desk. Now you can move the monitor all the way around your desk at 360-degree angle like this. See this? You can move it up and down, lower, higher. So if you're going to be sitting at, let's say you're sitting on a couch and you want to move the screen, you want to watch a movie or something, you can turn it right over to you. You can move it up, move it down, depending on the height of the couch. You can also move it like this into the orientation where you can just view pages very easily. It doesn't take you to, you don't have to unhook the monitor from the stand. It's just an amazing ergonomic stand that comes with this thing. 32 inches also from LG for only that small cost of $499. If you can get it for that, check it out. All right, so the next one is if you actually have a PC and you do some gaming, but you also want to use it for your Mac and you want it to look kind of cool or like be presentable on a desk, take a look at this. This is going to be the Razer Raptor 27-inch. It's a gaming monitor. It's actually 165 hertz. It's IPS panel, HDR 400. It says it's a solid aluminum base. If you look at my screen, you can go ahead and see that in the back of it over here, it's got cable management in the back of the stand, so you can run cables down it. It's also basically just a solid, overall screen. It's got HDMI, USB-C, and DisplayPort 1.4 for the connections. So again, this one's actually going to only be, I believe it's 1440p as far as the resolution. So it's not going to be a full 4K, but it's going to be better than 1080p. And this one comes in just at around $499 on Amazon right now. It's 38% off, so check it out. I mean, it's just something that a lot of people think it has to be for gaming, it has to be with a Razer computer, but no, it can be with a Mac. Works on a Mac, works really well. So if that's something you're looking for and you want that kind of color scheme, you can turn off the actual colors, as far as the LED lights on the bottom of it. If you don't like the gaming lights, you can flip those off. So overall, it could be an attractive monitor if it didn't have those lights, I think, just being a solid black system with an aluminum stand. All right, for the next one, we're going to go wide. And why is wide exotic? Well, I'm going to show you. A lot of people don't use a widescreen for a Mac, number one. This one works really well. This is the LG 34BK95U-W UltraFine 34-inch. Who comes up with this stuff? It's a 21.9 screen, and the reason this is exotic is they call it a 5K/2K. Why? Well, it's basically 5120 by 2160. It's a weird resolution, but 5K is on, I guess on the horizontal, which is pretty crazy. 75 hertz, it says. It basically is a nano IPS, 600 nits of brightness, which is actually really good on a screen like this. It's got a Thunderbolt 3 connection as far as connecting it into the system as well, which is unheard of. Usually in this, well, this is expensive, but it's still, you don't get a lot of Thunderbolt kind of monitors like this. It also has USB-C as well. So if you're looking for going wide, this is one you want to check out. I'll have a link to it in the description by, LG. A lot of people don't know about this, but this was rated pretty high for working with Macs, and it might be a good option for you. Okay, staying with the widescreen theme, we're going to go to this next one over here. This is the BenQ PD3420Q 34-inch 21.9 or 21.9 monitor, another mouthful. The reason I like this is basically going to be an IPS factory calibrated monitor. So, BenQ makes very, very good calibrated monitors as far as colors and what have you. So if you work a professional job, this is actually a really good one for a Mac, especially at this kind of size, 21.9. This is actually only going to be 3440 by 1440 as far as the resolution. So I think that's like almost 4K, it's somewhere in between. And again, these are kind of weird with the widescreens. This one also is the price point. It's going to be $799. So if we're getting all that for $799, it's not really a bad deal there. And again, it is an IPS screen also, which helps. And they call it the AQ color calibration. That's what BenQ calls it anyway. So it does have the KVM switch with USB-C, HDMI, and DisplayPort 1.4. So anyways, check that one out. It's not a bad deal. And let's keep moving on. All right, so for the next one, we're going to stay with the widescreen, and this one's really kind of wide, and I want to show you why this is exotic. This is going to be the Scepter IPS 43.8-inch ultra-wide monitor. It's an IPS panel, it's LED, 3840 by 1080p, which is a kind of a weird resolution in itself, but it's 43 inches long. So the reason you'd buy something like this is because you're going to think about putting multiple screens up at once instead of having multiple monitors, right? It is so wide, it can do that very well. And the cost, it's only $379 right now, which is actually a really, really good deal. It comes with USB-C on top of that, HDMI with two HDMIs and one display port. Plus it basically has other ports that kind of act as a hub, which I'll show you up here. So it comes with the remote also for all that's worth. But the main thing of this is going to be the price. And it's a white monitor. It's going to work maybe really well with your color scheme. And it does work with the Mac. So you want to check this out if you want multiple things up on the screen at once and you don't want like a super, super, super high resolution monitor. This might work really well for you. And as an honorable mention, they also make this Nebula. It's basically a Scepter Nebula white 34-inch ultra wide as well. It's going to be 3440 by 1440p, so that's going to be a little bit less. They're out of stock, I think, on this right now because it's in kind of high demand, but it's basically going to be a little bit, if you don't want it that wide, here's another widescreen for you. So take a look at this one. All right, so now let's get into these exotic ones. So this first one I'm going to show you that a lot of people don't know about is basically going to be called the Elogic Clarity 27-inch UHD 4K monitor. Obviously it's 4K. The reason I like this monitor is basically the ease of being able to flip the screen from this way to this way, number one. You can also, though, just the beauty of the monitor overall. It's basically going to have an aluminum look to it as far as the stand, and it's just a very, very attractive monitor, right? And it's going to come with basically HDR 600. It's got a USB-C for the connection in, HDMI and display port, so you got a lot of connections that you can get into this system. It's got 90-watt power delivery if you want to go ahead and charge things like a laptop and stuff beyond that. So it's on back order, though. That's the problem with it. It's gotten so popular that I think it's and back order. It's about $800, $799 right now, and I'll show you the page up here right now. This is the Elogic Clarity page, and that's really the only place you can buy it. That's the crazy part. So that's why a lot of people don't know about this one. This one does work well with the Mac. It's compatible with the Mac, and a lot of people have verified that. So if you're looking for that kind of silver look on a monitor that kind of looks like the studio display, but you only need 4K, you only need 27 inches on it, then basically this is maybe a good choice for you. And it's going to be something that a lot of people will ask you questions on because a lot of people have no idea this exists. And I know there's other reviews out there, you can check them out. But overall, I know this one. I've seen this one in person. This is actually a really good system as far as the build quality on it. And it's not maybe going to be as good as a studio display, but overall, it's got a solid build quality. So definitely check it out. If it comes back in stock, do a little more research on it. It says it's going to be in stock around, I think, the end of April or March. I think April. So it's coming up soon, and they're going to get a whole new stock of them. All right, so this next one's going to be pretty exotic as well, and I covered it a long time ago, but it's very difficult to get, but I'll show you kind of how to do it. It's called the Huawei MateView monitor. It's basically going to be a 28-inch 4K panel. Let's take a look. It's incredibly as far as the design, and it looks exotic. Why? Because it's actually a 3x2 monitor. So what that means basically is a 16:9 or something is going to be a lot longer. This one's going to give you more real estate up and down, so you can scroll web pages easier and stuff like that. On top of it, this thing has a whole bunch of ports built into it. It's made out of aluminum. It's got speakers built into it. It says it's 2 5-watt speakers for all it's worth. It does come with USB-C with a 65-watt charging port on it as well, HDMI and display port. But overall, it's just a cool monitor that looks like it was made for a Mac as well. It was made more for the kind of the Huawei MateView, I guess, computer line and stuff like that. But they did make just a monitor. They make this also with a computer inside, but it's a Windows computer. So the reason you have to like kind of find this thing is they don't really sell it because the United States put kind of a ban on this company. So what you have to do is a couple different places. I mean, I know Amazon Canada has it, and I also found it if you go to, believe it or not, AliExpress can ship it to you. So it's about $898, so it's a little bit of a risk. I haven't done that yet, so you're on your own if you want to do that. But I did find it at AliExpress, and they will ship it to you. It's a pretty cool monitor, I think, overall, and it's something that a lot of people don't have. So if you like it to be kind of a conversation piece, this is probably one of them that'll be one for sure. And then to wrap all this up, this one's not out yet, so I left it last. This is going to be the brand new Samsung Viewfinity S9. And I just went to The Verge because obviously there's not a lot of information about this. But on The Verge, you can see some pictures of it right here on my screen. Go to The Verge. They're actually a great company. Long story short, they took some pictures at some event, and you can see what this is going to look like. It's going to look very similar to the studio display. And the problem with this, we don't know the cost yet, but it's going to be 5120 by 2880, so the resolution is going to be really cool. And but overall, you can see some of the pictures in here that I'm showing you. It's going to have an anti-glare screen, so it looks like it's only going to be matte. It's not going to be kind of a shiny screen like the Mac, like obviously the studio display glass. So if you like that, that's going to be one option that you may have to kind of consider. It's only 27 inches as well, but we do think it's going to come in, around. We think it's going to be less. If it's going to be around the $1,000 mark, that'll be great. The back of it, you can see here, is going to be made out of aluminum as well. And overall, just the look of the feel of the monitor, the ergonomics of the stands are better than the studio display. So it would be a good option. It does have some speakers built into it as well, but again, we don't know how good they are because we haven't been able to test it or even see it yet. But just keep that on your radar. It's called the S9 is a phone also by Samsung, so you got to put like Viewfinity S9 by Samsung. You'll see the monitor. There's a whole bunch of pages on it. Take a look in advance. It's coming out very shortly, I think within the next month or so. All right, I'm just going to wrap this up. That's all I wanted to do in this video. So these are more exotic type monitors that a lot of people don't know about. Tell me in the comments, how many of these did you know? Obviously the Samsung M8, I've covered that many times. But beyond that, would you consider some of these? Do you need widescreen for a Mac? For doing work, it's great just because you can put multiple screens up. For other things, maybe not so much. But overall, I think those last 2 or 3 are kind of really cool monitors as far as the aesthetic look of them. And people rate them pretty high. So it's just hard finding them. Obviously, one's sold out. The other one you got to get from a weird source. The last one's not out yet. So we got to wait for all this stuff to come up, and we can kind of look at it a little bit closer, especially that last one. All right, I'll wrap this up. Check out my last video, my channel in general. I do hundreds of videos on Apple products and all different types of Apple and Mac stuff. And I do reviews on hubs and monitors and everything in between. I'll have some monitors actually in-house doing reviews on those soon. We'll talk to everybody in the near future. Peace.